Hi, YouTubers. Hi, vinyl community. Hello, everybody else who looks at this. Had a crap day at work. Some days really crap, and I wouldn't really make a video today if it wasn't for two things. First of all, this man would have been 72 years old today if he'd been allowed to. I read some discussion on what they think he would look like, or maybe even what he would do today if he was still alive. And then I think a lot of the Liverpudlian poet Roger McGuff, I don't know if you're familiar with him, check him out on YouTube, Roger McGuff, because I think he both looks and talks like John Lennon would do if he had still been alive today. And also I think if John Lennon would still have been alive today, I'm not even sure he would work with music. He might just as well be an author or maybe a poet full-time. Another reason why I decided to do this video is because I found some inspiration from some of the other members of the vinyl community who have been showing their CD collection. And, well, 78 RPM blog, we know he has vinyl albums, vinyl records. But does he have CDs? Of course I do. So, well, my first CD player in 1990 was a cheapo plastic, not hi-fi equipment, but stereo equipment of the brand Fisher. Once a proud name, but then reduced to crap by then. It also had a turntable, which was totally unusable. But the CD worked because, well, it was my first CD player, and I liked the CD format very much then, and for maybe up to 1994, 1995, I only bought CDs. Of course, vinyls were more and more impossible to get hold of before you started buying second hand, which I did in late 1994, almost 18 years ago now. But the last couple of years I haven't bought that many CDs, but I've been but I still like CDs. But if I can pick a format to buy a new album in, I pick the vinyl format. But I'm going to show you anyway some CDs. Well, I've got around 1,000 CDs, but I'm going to show you some CDs that, first of all, I like very much and I wish I had on vinyl. In some cases, they are not available on vinyl, and in other cases, they may have been available on vinyl for a very short time, but I wasn't there to pick it up when it was. And also I'm going to show you some great boxes, because CD today, I think the best and the most important and the most exciting issues are CD boxes. Well, but I'm going to show you some different CDs that I wish I had on vinyl because I like them so much. First of all, we have the Swedish group Baskeri, and they're a bit of a, I don't know, country rock, well, Swedish, but still with an American touch and a bit of bluegrass. There are three sisters, the Three Sisters Bondesong, and they made this album in 2008, Fall Among Thieves, on the Veranda label, and I like it very much. My Old House God, Paul Simon. This was issued on vinyl, but I was dumb enough never to pick it up when it was available, and today it's very expensive from what I've seen. And also I didn't pick up the two previous albums he made on CD, on the vinyl, You're the One and songs from the Capeman. Hope to do so one day, still haven't. This I'm quite sure wasn't issued on the CD, or on the LP, on vinyl. It's Odd Nordstoga, Norwegian singer-songwriter with this very popular album Luring. Was a great hit in Norway, And my mother was in Norway when she heard this, so she bought it for herself. I borrowed it and listened to it, and I thought, well, this is amazingly good. A bit folk music, pop music, very nice mixture with great lyrics and great music, with an acoustic sound, lots of mandolin, fiddles, and bottleneck guitar and stuff like that. And he's not as famous in Sweden as he ought to be, but he's very popular in Norway, Odd Nordstoga. For some reason, Norwegian music is never really taken seriously in Sweden, unless they move here and almost become Swedish, like Anne Brun, for one, to mention one example. Okay, here's another house god, Ron Sexsmith. Ron Sexsmith, his third album, Whereabouts, not counting Grand Opera Lane, his first album. It's not really official. This was the first Ron Sexsmith album I bought in 1999. This was issued in 1999 too. Wish I had this on vinyl, but some of his later albums I bought on vinyl and CD. And now I've actually seen that some of his earlier albums have started to be released on vinyl. Blue Boy and from 2001 and Cobblestone Runway from 2002. They are available on import. They are quite expensive, but I've ordered them and I hope to get them soon, because he's one of my absolute favorite songwriters. And actually, he's one of the few of these stars that I've had a very small contact with, because I once, well, 7-8 years ago, wrote something on his website, some greeting of some sorts. And he wrote back a very nice reply. We talked about Sweden and how much he liked playing in Sweden and his big audience there. Very amiable guy. I like him. I think, yeah, I like him as a songwriter, and he seems to be a really good guy as well. Ron Sexsmith. Coming from Cameroon, I think. I may be wrong now. I think it's Cameroon. Richard Bona, the great bass player, fretless bass. This is one of his albums. I have several of his albums. It's called Reverence. It's from 2001. I would really like to have this on vinyl if it was available, but still, nothing wrong with listening to a nice CD. But the music is amazingly good. This I'm quite sure that it's not available on LP, on vinyl. It's Turtle Island String Quartet with the album Art of the Groove from 1999. I first heard Turtle Island String Quartet on the live concert that was made in Leipzig. Was it Leipzig? When Johann Sebastian Bach celebrated his 250th birthday. Or was it the death of Johann Sebastian Bach? It was in 2000 anyway. And there was a great live concert called Swingin' Bach that was aired live on Swedish television. And I fell in love with the whole concert. And I've tried to find musicians that were part of that concert since then. I'm happy to say that I got hold of the DVD of the whole concert a couple of years ago, and that made me very happy. Turtle Island String Quartet was one of the groups that played there. Yeah, another group that played on that concert was the French Jacques Lussier Trio. This is a CD from 1998, on Telarc. Satie, Je ne peux dire Gnossien, in which Jacques Lussier, they were most famous for their Play Bach series, of course, but in this case they are playing around with the music of the great and very special French composer Eric Satie, and this is wonderful. And the bass, the sound is magnificent. And the bass, the the bass that Benoit de Segonzac plays is magnificent and so deep you can feel it in the floor when you play it. Great. They are like a six-armed octopus. They play so well together, Jacques Lussier Trio. So I'm very impressed by that. And also I like when you play around with the old masters. Yeah, playing around with the old master. We have the we have the American song group Manhattan Transfer. Maybe not the hottest thing to like, but they've made some really good albums, and this was one of them. They made it in 2000, The Spirit of St. Louis, in which they are making their own versions of many of Louis Armstrong's popular songs. And they have a very interesting sound on this Atlantic CD from 2000. It's like it was recorded. It sounds as if it was recorded in the 1950s, a very 1950s sound on this. I think they use old microphones and old technique because it sounds genuine. It doesn't sound as if it's some sort of later added effect on the recording, and it has a very special sound. And of course, they are a great vocal group, and when they are very inspired, they make magical records. This is one of them, The Spirit of St. Louis. I can also mention the album they made before this, which was the album, the album Swing, in which they cooperated, well, in one track with Rosenberg Trio and the legendary violinist Stefan Grappelli. And they made, I think, Grappelli's final recording before he passed away was on that CD. I'm not sure about that, but it must have been one of the very last ones. Also worth checking out. Yeah, those are some CDs that I wish I had on vinyl. Now I'm going to show you some my boxes, CD boxes. I have many CD boxes, but I think I've showed you this before, but I think it's worth showing again. It's called Pregnant Rainbows for Colorblind Dreamers, and it's the essence of Swedish progressive music 1967 to 1979. And this is a great sampler of the best of Swedish progressive music in the 1970s, late 60s and during the 1970s. 4 CDs and lots of information, nice pictures, and goes very well together. This was issued by the Premium Publishing Company and goes very well together with this book, the Encyclopedia of Swedish Progressive Music, and you can probably tell that they are connected. They were issued at the same time. And if you're very interested in Swedish progressive music and you don't really know where to start looking and which groups to look out for, then this is a very good sampler, because you got around over 60 different tracks with different bands and some of their best recordings. And I had this as a great help when I started really exploring Swedish progressive music, trying to find the best bits of it some years ago, and so this is very good. Yeah, and when it comes to Swedish pop music from the 1960s, 1964 to 1969, I can really recommend this Stora Pop-boxen, 3 CDs, also issued by Premium Publishing, cooperating with the EMI, and this comes together with this book, Stora Pop-boken. I was smart enough to buy this when it was new in 1995, I think. Today it's very sought after by collectors because it's a great source for information about Swedish pop music from 1964 to this is from 1954 to 1969. The CD box is from 1964 to 1969. And very good selection of music on this one, I have to say that. And this is a very good book. Co-written by Fredrik Hallberg, who runs the store Rainbow Music in Solna. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen these boxes before. Original Album Classics. I have a couple of these. This is with the Birds. I've started because I was curious in them and it didn't cost that much, and of course these are very nice. It's quite simple with the original artwork of the albums, and I like these small finishes. I have to check that. Is the label there too? Yeah, look, 6-size label there. Very nice. I have a weakness for this. It's geeky, I know, but I like it, and they are quite cheap as well, and not that hard to get hold of. And there are lots of these boxes made and available. So I like this. And the problem is that when I find a good box, I tend to start buying the original albums on vinyl. But I guess that's how it goes. Yeah, speaking about that, this is the Simon and Garfunkel, the collection. Very nice box. I actually first had all the Simon and Garfunkel albums in a LP box that was issued in 1980, I think. Here the concert in Central Park is included, but it wasn't then because it hadn't been recorded. So that's how I first started listening to Simon and Garfunkel. And now, of course, I got them all on vinyls. Still, it's a very good box, and also I think there are some interesting extra tracks on these. Very good. Yeah, then we have this one that I bought some years ago that I really like, and also I like boxes with compilations of music of a similar kind because it gives me an idea on which artists to look out for, and stacks doesn't really need any introduction. Let's see if we can have this animated. Have an animated picture here of the Stax logo. Let's see if we can catch him on the camera. Can we? Yeah, look. Isn't that quite cool? Yeah, we can look at this forever. Anyway, the 50th anniversary collection, so it's from 2007, and it's 2 CDs. Great collection of music and a very nice book in it too. And all the tracks are essentials. And when it comes to label boxes, we have this Atlantic Gold with 75 soul classics from the Atlantic vaults from the 1950s up until the 70s, I guess. Wasn't very expensive when I bought it. Yeah, my old favorite, Johnny Cash. There are lots of CD boxes and I've got a couple of them, but I wonder if this is not my favorite because this box is his own picks, not his greatest hit, but his own picks. It's Love, God, Murder, a 3 CD box with 3 CDs. They look very nice, very nice. With first of all God, spiritual songs, Murder, songs about crime and murder of course, and love. And his own selections from the earliest years up until the American Records years. This was issued in 2000, so it contains material from his first 2 American Records albums. And I like the theme. There was a 4th record added to this collection later, and I think all these were sold separately as well, but I bought it as a box. Yeah, well, showed you some CDs now, so welcome to the CD community. Okay, hope somebody found it slightly interesting. Bye bye.